Hello, this is Molly Reamer with 30 Days of Goddess in Bridget's Grove with this week's mini ritual. And again, this week I am using Womanrunes. I am using the Story Goddess Oracle, Cut Your Own expansions for 30 Days of Goddess, and a little assist from the Sacred Self-Care Oracle by Jill Pyle, I believe, and published by Goddess Provisions. And then I also have one of the prayers from July's practice snapshot cards for 30 Days of Goddess. Reminder that you can always go to 30daysofgoddess.com for our monthly practice updates and all of the resources that you need for daily practice, including snapshot cards to help guide the month into simple sacredness and making a space for the sacred and for yourself in your own everyday life. So from Womanrunes, we received the Hearth, which I have spoken about before, and I've done a video about before. This is a rune of nurturance, domesticity, caring for the home, and codependency. This one is one of the runes that has kind of a shadow side, so to speak, built right into it. So the thing that it asks us to consider is, how are we tending to our hearths? How are we tending to our homes? How are we tending to the heart of home? How are we taking care of our spaces of belonging? And then at the same time, how are we letting the home per se become kind of a trap? How are we staying small within our own bubble, not stretching ourselves, not reaching out, staying small and confined and perhaps limited by our stuff, our possessions, our home spaces, our families even? What limits have we let be placed around us that limit our capacity because it is safer to stay contained? So it can be a complex rune that brings up some challenge, as well as these twin reminders, like we must tend to our hearths and our homes, and we must not let ourselves get confined and boxed in. And then the word from the Cut Your Own deck, rise. So may we rise with strength into our own wholeness and our own flourishing. May we rise into the possibilities that are flung open before us. May we rise into our own strength and our own power. May we claim our own magic. May we rise up together. And then from the Story Goddess Oracle, this is a progressive deck that I'm building in this year with the Goddess Magic patrons. That is patreon.com/goddessmagic. And we got Persephone. I have two versions of the Persephone card, an Underworld Queen version and a Springtime Maiden version. So we got the Underworld Queen version, and this one really speaks to that kind of twin experiences of the hearth, but also it speaks to rising as well. Listen, I have learned what it means to rise soft-bellied from the deep, shards of darkness clinging to my thighs, my lips stained berry red with truth and desire, my heart still capable of shedding flowers and drops of hope on hungry plains. The yearning in my bones pulls me to both rise and sink. There's sunrise passion in my eyes, a pulse of longing in my center, a blush of firelight streaked across my skin, where sunshine meets shadow again and again. And then, instead of a ritual card from the daily practice deck, I drew a practice from the Sacred Self-Care Oracle instead, and we received Health Checkup. And I feel like this is a good reminder that self-care does not always look beautiful and fancy and fun. Self-care can be making the awkward appointments that we don't necessarily want to make. By the time you actually watch this video, I will actually have had my first mammogram appointment, which was one of those health checkups I didn't really want to make, but did. And so I think this is a good personal reminder for me, and it's also a good broader reminder that self-care, it can be very, very earthy and basic, and about our bodies and what they need or what they are asking for, or the signs and signals that they are giving us. And self-care can also be crystals and cards and books and beautiful things, and it can include all of those things, but sometimes we just need to attend to the basics of these flesh and blood forms. And then I'm going to, let's see, I have a card This reminds me, this is from the Cut Your Owns for July as well. And this brings us back to rising really again as well. And we begin with what we have. Or we are here with what we have. Begin with your feet on the earth. Begin with the wind in your lungs. Begin with your heart in your chest. Begin with open eyes and open hands. Begin from here. Begin from now. Something I say often is don't go backwards. Don't rewind. Like now is the time. Begin. Like this is where you are right now. Begin from here. Don't wait for perfect. Don't wait for special. Don't wait for the right time. Begin from here. Begin from now. And then I wanted to call our attention to one of the prayers from the snapshot deck for 30 Days of Goddess for July, 30daysofgoddess.com, in case you forgot. And I really like this one. Our theme for July is liberate. So I'd like to use, I wanted to call our attention back to some of those resources. And so we can sink into and embrace that theme of liberate instead of just jumping on to the next thing. And this poem is actually in the 365 Days of Goddess book as well. It is in the end of June in that book, but it perfectly suits this theme of liberate for July this year. And this is actually a favorite of mine. May we liberate our minds from comparison and compulsion and step into mindfulness of where we are. May we liberate our bodies from stale ideas about beauty and best and step into sovereignty of feeling and form. May we liberate our hearts from competition and coercion and step into compassion and connection. May we liberate our work from cycles of consumption and constriction and offer our creativity and capacity as love letters to the world. May we liberate our lives and stand together whole and here, arms wide open and bellies bared in the sun, recognizing that our liberation is inextricably connected to one another. May we help each other to rise. Thank you so much for being here. Bye-bye.